Dear students, welcome to the CUET Quantitative Aptitude Detailed Solution. So here you are already familiar with most of the basic mathematical concepts. So in this test also you will get some of the basic idea of most of the other arithmetic concepts. So here we can discuss the questions one after another. Here our first question. Here it's a question from the topic numbers. It's the most easiest one. But we know that numbers is a tricky area or topic. There are lots of concept-wise questions we can expect. If you will get such a question, there are two different ways of approaches are possible. One is sampling type of approach. That means we just give some inputs or some of the sample values for the given variables. As per those values, we can find out the answers or reach the conclusions. Another one is concept-wise approach. Based on the basic concept of that particular context, on the base of that concept, you can reach the conclusions easily. So we can consider which is the most easiest approach towards such a similar type of questions. Here the first question, when n is divided by 4, the remainder is 3. What is the remainder when 2n is divided by 4? First, I just give you a sample-wise approach. Here the concept is very simple. N is a number. When we divide it by 4, the remainder is 3. So this means when we divide a natural number or a number n by 4, the remainder leaves is 3. So I already mentioned the point. We are considering it's in a sample-wise approach. You just think about such a number that leaves a remainder 3 when we divide it by 4. So guess which will be the immediately or which will be the least such value immediately rush into your brain. So hopefully that will be 7, right? 7. Or I just give another one insight related to this concept. Suppose n is equal to 3. So if n is equal to 3, what will happen? Remainder of 3 divided by 4. What will be the remainder? So here the dividend is less than the divisor. Then the remainder is the dividend itself. Therefore the remainder is 3 itself. So instead of 3, if you are thinking about 7, no problem. That's another one possibility. So this is the most easiest type of approach. You just consider if you will get such a condition. So you have to start with the least such number as the remainder itself. So then what is our next point? When we are considering, when we divide 2n by 4. Suppose we just consider what will be the remainder when we divide this 2n by 4. So what is the value of n here as per our assumption? N is equal to 3. So therefore 2n is nothing but 2 into 3. So that's equal to 6 divided by 4. What will be the remainder? So remainder of 6 by 4, that's equal to 2. Hence the answer is option 2. So this is a way of sample or assumption. This method is called plug-in. So we are plug in some values here. So in most of such situations, we can catch the answer through this plug-in method. Instead, if you are considering its concept-wise approach. What is a concept-wise approach here? So that's the basic idea of remainders. Here, when a number divided by 4, the remainder is 3. So when 2 times of that number divided by 4, no doubt the remainder will be 2 into 3. So what happened here? When we multiplied this number by 2, then the remainder also be multiplied with the same 2. So at the same time, we just consider, here we know that this remainder is 6. This is 6. But our divisor is only 4. Therefore, the remainder should not be more than the divisor. So in such a situation, you have to understand it's an operational remainder, which means through this concept, we got the remainder as 6. So that's not a wrong conclusion, but for making it more correct, what you have to do, you just again divide this 6 by 4. Why? Here we know that the remainder should be less than divisor. In such a situation, you just simply consider remainder when 6 divided by 4. So that is equal to 2. That is our required remainder. So this is the concept here. if you are multiplying that dividend means that number itself, the number by 2, remainder also multiplied with the same number. So that's the basic idea. At the same time, we can catch similar type of question through this kind of plug-in methods. We can move to the second question. The unit digit of 3 raised to 33. Another tricky concept. So find the unit digit of a given expression, like this exponential expression. It's a commonly or frequently asked question. So what is the logic behind such a question? How to reach the conclusion? So you just think about the cyclicity of, so that cyclicity means pattern, cyclicity of unit digits. So that is technically called cyclicity of unit digit of 3. So we are considering the cyclicity of the unit digit of 3. That's quite simple. Here you just consider what will be the unit digit of 3 raised to 1. So 3 raised to 1, its unit digit is 3 itself. So what about the unit digit of 3 square? So guess, 3 square is 9. So it's a single digit number. So its unit digit is 9 itself. What about 3 cube? As we know, 3 cube equal to 27. So you just consider its unit digit. So that is 7 itself. And 3 raised to 4. As we know, 3 raised to 4 is 81. So you just write the unit digit as 1 only. So whenever we will get a 1 as a unit digit, that cyclicity will start there. The repetition will start there. Otherwise, we just consider simply 3 raised to 1 is 3. 3 square is simply just multiply this 3 by 3. That will be equal to 9. This 9 into 3, that is 27. You have to write only 7. You just think about, focus on the unit digit part of each number. This is 3 into 7, 1. What will happen in the next step? This 1 into 3, again that will be 3. 3 into 3, again 9. 3 into 9, 7. 3 into 7, 1. Again into 3, and so on. It will repeat infinitely. So then we are considering. So now we got there are 4 distinct unit digits. So consider our exponent. So we have to find out what is the unit digit of 3 raised to 33. So while we are considering counting this one, whenever the exponent is 1, unit digit is 3, 2, unit digit is 9, 3, unit digit is 7, 4, 1, again 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. So whenever that exponent is a multiple of 4, the unit digit is always 1. So there you just look at that number, that is 33. When we divide that number by 4, which will be the remainder? 1. So that means whilst we are counting the numbers like this, so this 33 will end here. Or here we can consider that is same as unit digit of. This one we can split as this is same as unit digit of 3 raised to 1. Why this unit digit of 3 raised to 33 is same as unit digit of 3 raised to 1? Because here we have 4 unit digits. So we have 4 unit digits. When we divide that exponent by this 4, what will be the remainder? So remainder is 1. So that means if we start counting, it's repeatedly 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. The 31, it will reach here. Like that we can consider 33 will reach here. Because 32, that's the nearest multiple of 4 in that range. Therefore, 3 raised to 32, its unit digit should be equal to 1. Therefore, 33, that will be equal to 3 itself. So therefore, that is same as 3 raised to 1. Hence, our answer will become 3 itself. So this is the first value from the pattern. So this is a way to find out the unit digit of such an expression. So this is a pattern method. Through this pattern, we can find out the answer. So while we are considering or doing similar type of questions, you just think about its different possibilities. So instead of this 3 raised to something, you just think about some other numbers also. Suppose at the time of this 3, if it was 7 raised to 33, which will be the value? think about the values like that. You have to collect, or whenever we are facing such a new concept, you have to keep that as a new objectivity, or that you have to keep or list out those concepts, and you have to do your preparation on the base of those concepts. You have to get familiar with those types of concepts, its various kinds of applications. So now we can move to the next question. It's another unit digit concept. Concept which we applied already in the previous question. Same concept is applicable here. First we are considering what is the unit digit of 24 raised to 37. Unit digit of 24 raised to 37. First of all, you have to understand this is same as unit digit of 4 raised to 37. Got it? At this time, we have to consider the pattern or the cyclicity of the unit digit of 4. So how to do the cyclicity of unit digit of 4? So here we are considering the cyclicity. So 4 raised to 1, its unit digit is 4 itself. 4 square, its unit digit is 6. So don't forget 4 square equal to 16, but we have to consider its unit digit only. Think about which will be the unit digit of 4 cube. 4 cube is 64, that's again 4. 4 raised to 4, that will be again 6. So interestingly, there are two different unit digits. So whenever that exponent is an odd value, the unit digit is 4. If the exponent is even, the unit digit becomes 6. So we can conclude it like that. If 4 raised to an odd exponent, the unit digit is 4 itself. 4 raised to an even exponent, the unit digit is 6. So here we will get what is the unit digit of this number. So here this 37 is odd. Therefore, its unit digit is 4 itself. Got it? So now we can move to the second condition. What is the unit digit of 37 raised to 24? So what you have to do, you just extract that value like this. This is same as 7 raised to 24. Why we are avoiding this 3, that's tens place value? Because that won't make any change in the case of unit digit or in the pattern of unit digit. Simply, we have to consider only the unit digit. Then we are moving to the cyclicity of the unit digits of 7. So how to do it? 7 raised to 1, its unit digit is 7 itself. 7 square. 7 square, that's equal to 49. So 9. 7 cube. So I just teach you a trick here for finding the unit digit quickly. Either you have to recall the value which is 7 cube. We know that that's equal to 343. If you forgot the cube of that value, so don't worry. What you have to do, you just simply multiply this 9 by 7. What will be the value? 9 into 7, that is 63. So which is a unit digit of 63? That is 3. Again, so most of you are quite facing difficulty for finding what is 7 raised to 4. So don't worry, if you don't know what is the exact value of 7 raised to 4, for finding the unit digit, you just multiply this 3 by 7. So 3 into 7, that is equal to 21. 21, its unit digit is 1. I already mentioned that point related to 3. So whenever the unit digit becomes 1, definitely the repetition will start. It's not mandatorily that always the repetition start after the unit digit becomes 1. Because here, you just look at this example. Here after the 6, the repetition started. So in the case of 3, 7, 9, so this repetition will start after the presence of 1. So here we have 4 distinct unit digits. So what is the next step? If there are 4 distinct unit digits, think about this exponent. Exponent is a multiple of 4. Exponent is a multiple of 4. Then what you have to consider? So this unit digit is same as the unit digit of 7 raised to 4. If this exponent is a multiple of 4, so that is same as 7 raised to 4. So what is the 7 raised to 4's unit digit? So that is equal to 1. Why we are considering like that? When we count the exponents like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. So this 24 will end here. Therefore its unit digit is 1. So here we got the unit digit is 1. Now we can move to the question, original question here. So here we have to find out the unit digit of this product. So therefore the unit digit of 24 raised to 37 into 37 raised to 24. We got the first value, its unit digit is 4, and that of the second one, that is 1. Therefore the product becomes 4 itself. So the answer is option 1. So this is an interesting way to reach the conclusion of unit digit of such numbers. So now move to the next question. It's a ratio or the percentage wise question. In an election, there were only 2 candidates. The losing candidates received 66 and 2/3% of the votes the winner got. The votes polled in favor of the loser were 60 less than that of the winner. So it's a basic direction of this question. It's a kind of caselet, or it's a type of data interpretation question. We have a basic data. We have to interpret the data properly. Based on that information, we have to make conclusions of the questions mathematically. Here, you have to getting familiar with that percentage value. That's a very important point in such a kind of question. What you have to do, you just frame a fraction, a corresponding fractional value for that percentage values. So once you are familiar with the aptitude type of preparations, that's a quite familiar percentage values, you can easily reach the corresponding fractional value of that kind of a percentage value. So in your elementary stage of preparation, maybe you are not at all familiar with such a percentage values, then I will help you how to reach the corresponding fractional value of a percentage. So here 66 and 2/3%, 66 and 2/3%. So first of all, what you have to do, you just make it as an improper fraction from mixed fraction. It's a mixed fraction. What you have to do, you just multiply this 3 into 66, 3 into 66. We know that that is 198 plus 2 divided by 3, then into 100. Why into 100? We just remove this percentage symbol. This percentage symbol, its value is 1/100. So what it is, this is 200 by 300. So what is the corresponding fraction? That is 2/3. So it's a cute value, right? 66 and 2/3%. Keep it in your mind. So now forget that 66 and 2/3%, that's nothing but 2/3. Just recall what was the value of 1/3. So that is 33 and 1/3%. Understand the relationship between 1/3 and 2/3 here. So that was 33 and 1/3%. This is 66 and 2/6%. Got it? So then we are moving to the question. The winner or the losing candidate received 66 and 2/3% of the votes of the winner got. So what you have to do? We just consider a ratio-wise approach of these 2 candidates. Here we are considering the voting status of this winner and loser. So here loser. So here this losing candidate, loser and winner. So this is 2 and 3, 2/3. So what I am doing, I am going to put this winner's number of votes, received number of votes as 3. Then what we can consider as the number of votes received by loser, that is 2. So understand the point here. This denominator you have to keep as the base of this operation. It is given that losing candidate received 2/3 of the number of votes that winner received. Therefore, the number of votes received by winner, I assumed that as 3. Then the loser received 2. So here, what is the difference between their votes? As per the ratio values, the difference is 1. It is given that the loser received 60 less than that of the winner. So here, we just consider this 1. 1 is nothing but the number of, or the difference between their votes. So this 1 is representing 60 votes. 1 is representing 60 votes. What do you have to consider? If 1 is representing 60 votes, we have to find out the total. So as this 1 representing 60 votes, in this question we have to find out how many votes did the loser get. What is the number of votes did the loser get? That is 2. So therefore 2 is how much? That we have to find out. This is a unitary kind of approach. If 1 is representing 60 votes, what 2 represents? That is the number of votes received by loser. So 2 got, that is 120 votes. Got it? So that's the answer. Here it's a unitary type of approach. It's a very important kind of approach. You have to get familiar with that ratio-wise approach. Otherwise, what will happen? It will take too much time. If you are trying to approach it in an algebraic way, it will take too much time. So your numerical proficiency is very important in such a type of question. Once you are familiar with such a type of percentage value and its corresponding fractional approach, then only we can easily reach the conclusion. Got it? So now we can move to the second question of the same concept. Here we already got the illustration that loser and winner, that's in the ratio 2:3 and the difference is 1. So this basic idea we developed from the basic or the direction. Now how many votes were cast? So it is given that the loser were 60, the number of votes received by the loser were 60 less than that of winner. So here if you are considering the conditions, this 1 is representing 60 votes. 1 is representing 60 votes. Or we can consider it's like this. If 1 is representing 60 votes, what's the total number of votes? So as per this assumption, 2 plus 3. So total is nothing but 2 plus 3, which is equal to 5. At this time, we have to find out what this 5 represents. For getting the total number of votes polled, so we are going to find out what this 5 represents when 1 is representing 60. Simple logic. If 1 is representing 60, what is the value of 5? Simply consider 1 chocolate. It costs is rupees 60. Then what is the cost for such 5 chocolates? So that is simply 5 into 60. 5 into 60. So which is equal to 300 watts. 300 watts. So the answer is option 2. So that's the unitary type of approach. You have to get familiar with the unitary type of approach for this type of questions. So now it's third question. What percentage of the total votes did the winner get? So another concept here. For getting this idea, we already framed such a relationship between loser and winner. Their vote distribution will be like this. So at this time, we have to find a percentage of the total votes the winner get. So required percentage is nothing but. So here the required percentage. So winner got 3 votes out of a total of 5 votes. So that's the concept here. Winner got 3 votes out of a total of 3 plus 2, that is 5 votes. So into 100. From the ratio value itself we can catch. So that's the important and interesting concept here. So if you are considering this type of an approach, we just consider you don't want to go for the actual values for finding the percentage values. Instead, we can use this ratio values for finding the answer. Here 3 by 5 into 100%. So we can easily reach the conclusion this is equal to 60%. So here the answer is option 1. So from the ratio we can catch the answer easily. So now we can consider the next question. What annual payment will discharge a debt of rupees 848 in 4 years at 4% per annum simple interest? Is a question related to the concept of installment. It's from the area installment. There are 2 types of installment concepts. One is based on simple interest, another based on compound interest. Here our question is based on simple interest. So here, first of all, we have to make a clear idea about the concept at first for these types of simple interest related installment problems. Here, the debt is rupees 848. It occurred in 4 years and 4% per annum. So here we are considering the annual installment. So this annual installment, how we can reach the conclusion of such a question? Here we just consider, if the installment is rupees 100, we are assuming like that. So here let the installment, first installment, suppose the installment 1, or each installment will be like this. Installment is equal to rupees 100. So that our assumption. So what will happen? How that will act related to that amount of debt? So when we pay the first installment, what will happen? This first installment you paid at the first year itself. What will happen? Remaining 3 years, simple interest on that particular amount will be removed from the total debt. So therefore, with this first installment, what happened? It effectively act as 100 plus 3 years of simple interest. Why? Because we are normally taking or drawing this amount for, using it for the entire 4 years. But we are paying a part of that amount in the first year itself. So we are exempted from the remaining 3 years interest, at least for that particular amount. That exemption we are representing here. So your first installment rupees 100, its effective value will become 100 plus 3 years, further 3 years of simple interest. Your second installment of same 100, it becomes 100 plus remaining 2 years of simple interest. And your third installment of rupees 100, it's effectively become 100 plus 1 year of simple interest. And your fourth installment, fourth and the last installment, it is simply 100 only, because there is not any exemption of simple interest. So it is given that 4% per annum. So then we just consider, what is 4% per annum? 4% per 100 is equal to 4 rupee only. So therefore, effectively, what is this value? This is 100 plus 3 into 4. So that is equal to 112. What about this one? This is 100 plus 2 into 4. That is 108. And this one, 100 plus 1 into 4. So that is 104. And the last one, so that is simply 100 itself. Got it? That is simply 100 itself. So then we just consider, this is the total value of our debt. So this total debt, we just add up together these all values. So what we will get? So this is equal to 424. Then we are connecting it with the given quantities. So this is your debt actually, and your installment is rupees 100. So these are representing values. Don't forget, we start our assumption from let the installment amount be rupees 100. So if the installment is rupees 100, then the total debt is rupees 424. But actually what happened? Your total debt is rupees 848. If your total debt is rupees 848, as per our assumption, what is our installment? Installment is 100. So then 100 is how much? So it is given that 424 is representing 848, then 100 is representing how much? So here we just observe the value here, 424 into 2 will be equal to 848. So therefore 100 into 2, what is 100 into 2? That is rupees 200. So this is the annual installment here. So this is the basic idea of question, and based on this question we can develop the concept like this. And whenever you will get similar type of question, it's better to catch the answer through this kind of unitary approach. So then you can easily reach the conclusions. Understand this debt in the sense So that's not the amount you actually withdraw. So that's the amount you have to pay after this period of time. So it's including this installment calculation. That's why we consider it like this. So through this effective payment, that means in each year you are paying only 100 rupee. But its effective value, so related to that kind of calculation, so this your first installment 100, it's effectively 112. Your second installment 100, it's effectively rupees 108. So that's actually the concept of future value. So right now you are paying 100 rupee, its future value as per this condition, that is 112. That means if you are not paying that amount at this point of time, how much you have to pay? So that is 112. So now, in the second year you pay 100. If you are not paying it right now, you have to pay at the end of 4 years that as 108 and so on. That's a simple concept. So those values sum will be equal to the actual debt. So that's the concept we applied here. So through this numerical or the unitary kind of approach, you can reach the conclusions easily. So it's a basic installment type question. Now move to the next question. In what time will rupees 36 becomes 45 at 6.25% annum simple interest? So here the principal amount that is rupees 36 and the final amount that is rupees 45. Here what is the total net interest? So here simple interest, so that is 45 minus 36, which is equal to 9. So rupees 9, all these values are rupees, in rupees. For doing the simplification or operation, you don't want to write down each time rupees. So that is 9. Then we know that the result for finding simple interest, we have the result. What is the result for finding simple interest? Simple interest is equal to PNR by 100. So this is the result for finding simple interest. So if you are applying this result directly here, so this is equal to P. N. N means here. So we have to find out the time. So therefore N, that is N itself, into R. R is 6.25 by 100. So that is equal to 9. From this step, we can easily catch what is the value of N. Therefore, N is equal to 9 into 100 divided by 36 into 6.25. Here we know that this 9, it's 4 times here. Do you know what is 4 times of 6.25? So this will be equal to 25. So then what happened here? This 25 and 100, that is equal to 4. Hence, the answer is 4 years. So the answer is option 3. So that's a direct application of the result. Through this result, we can find the answer easily. Now the next question. The simple interest on rupees 400 for 8 months at 5 paise per rupee per month. 5 paise per rupee per month. So here we just consider what is the interest, total simple interest here. So total simple interest. So here we know that there are 5 paise. 5 paise means 5 by 100 rupee. Step by step we can consider. 5 paise means 5 by 100 rupee. So its duration is 8 months. So for 8 months, for each rupee we will get this much amount as interest in total. But we have 400 rupee, therefore just multiply it with 400. That's simple logic. So first we just consider 5 paise per rupee per month. Such 8 months multiplied with 8. So that's the amount we will get after this period of time for each rupee. But we are investing rupees 400. So therefore into 400. So after simplifying this one, this will be equal to, here this quantity 0, 0 we can consider. This is equal to 40 into 4, that's equal to 160. So the answer is rupees 160. That's a simple way of approach towards such a question. So now the next question. A man lent 400 and rupees 600 for 3 years, the same rate of simple interest, and received only rupees 90 as interest. What was the rate % per annum? Here we just consider what was the principal. So here we have two amounts, 400 and 600. That's a tricky concept for confusing you. So you can consider it together because those two amounts, it's lent at the same rate of interest. Therefore, we can club it together. So that is simply rupees 1000. So that is rupees 1000. Then here the number of years, that is 3 years. We are going to find out what is the rate of interest. And we know that what is simple interest. Simple interest is PNR by 100. Get it? So we are applying this result, PNR by 100. So this is 1000 NR. R is R itself by 100. So this is equal to rupees 90. Then what is the value of R? That's a simple logic or approach here. So here we know that this is R equal to 90 into 100 by 1000 into 3. So here we can cancel these 3 zeros. What will become 9 by 3? So that is 3 itself. So therefore 3% per annum. So that is the rate of interest here. So R is 3%. Clear? So that's a simple approaching style. So here a confusing type of concepts in this question, that is there are two principal amounts. You don't want to be bothered about that tricky or get into such a trap of two different ways of calculations. Here both the rate of interest are same. Therefore don't worry about two different types of amounts. So directly we can apply the direct approaching styles. Here a merchant gives a discount of 10% on tea, but uses a weight of 900 gram per kilogram. Find his net profit or loss percentage. It's another important type of questions from the area of profit and loss, but actually it's a ratio type of approach of profit and loss. So what is an easiest way to similar type of question? We can include this question in the area of dishonest seller. A dishonest seller, about the ways he can cheat. So either he is selling goods, he can malpractice or making some alteration in its weight. And while selling goods itself, he can make some increase or changes in the price of the goods. In both the ways, he can trade or help the customers. So here we are considering the situation like this. A merchant gives a discount of 10% on tea but uses a weight of 900 gram per kilogram. What is the logic here? First of all, we just consider what is the change in weight. So I just give you a direct approaching style towards this type of question. So what is the change in price? So here we can consider change in price, change in weight, change in weight of goods. So what is the change in weight? Instead of giving 1000 gram, he gave only 900 gram. Instead of giving 1000 gram, he gave only 900 gram. Instead of giving 1000 gram, he gave only 900 grams. So what is the decrease here? Here is a decrease of 100 gram in each 1000 gram. So this is a 10% decrease. This is a 10% decrease. So I just convert that change in percentage form. So there is a decrease of 10%. What is the change in price? Change in price. How we can consider change in price? It is given that there is a discount of 10%. Discount of 10% means price also decreased by 10%. So whenever you will get similar type of questions, first you have to reach these two conclusions. What is the percentage-wise change occurred in the weight and the price-wise change occurred while selling goods. So normally what will happen if the seller is that much dishonest, he'll increase the price. So that from the usual charge like that. So here he gave a discount of 10%. What is the next step? Here you just consider cost price and selling price. So you just start with 100. We are assuming both cost price and selling prices both 100 each. So what is the variation here? So here change. So this is our first assumption. We are assuming like that. Or simply you just visualize the situation. If the seller is an honest seller, he bought the product for ₹100 and sell it at 100 itself. So don't make any changes here. But he made 10% decrease in weight. So where you have to include that 10 decrease, you just subtract 10 from this value. So this is equal to 90. Understand, this 10 is nothing but, this 10 is nothing but, that is change in weight. Change in weight. Got it? This is change in weight. Then, on the right side, what you have to do, you just subtract this 10 from here. So that's also 90. So what is that 10 decrease? So this is change in price. Change in price. Got it? Like this way we have to consider. So change in weight, you have to connect it with the cost price, and change in price, you have to connect it with selling price. This is a method we have to consider for this type of a question. You can generally follow this method. Then after that, we got the idea that its cost price is 90 and selling price is also 90. If the cost price is 90, selling price also 90. So what is the profit or loss here? That is 0. 0 means 0% profit or loss. So what was the cost price? That itself was the selling price. Therefore, the situation is no profit, no loss. That's a simple logic towards this type of a question. So this is a common method that you can develop for finding the answer for similar type of question easily. You can reach the conclusion of similar type of questions. Correct? That's a very important type of approach. So here we have to consider various types of applications for this type of questions. So this is the most easiest type of approach. Whenever you will get the questions related to the dishonest seller, you have to follow the answer like this way or the question like this way. First of all, you have to make a conclusion about the percentage-wise change occurred in the weight of the product and the percentage-wise change occurred on the price of the product. And once you reach these two values, from there you can make the conclusion that as the effective cost price and effective selling price. So it includes all the things, means the alterations in the weight of the product and the price of the product. So like this way we can catch it. So we can consider the next question. By selling 25 litre of milk at ₹50 per litre, a merchant earns a profit equivalent to the cost price of 5 litre. Find the profit percent. It's another very important type of question. It's also a ratio kind of approach, or more precisely, this is the concept, profit or loss expressed in terms of selling price or cost price. In this question, here profit expressed in terms of cost price. Profit expressed in terms of cost price. Such a situation, so what you have to consider a basic idea. If it is a situation of profit, so we have to consider this basic relationship, selling price is cost price plus profit. Selling price is cost price plus profit. Based on this idea, we are developing the concept here. So this is a case of 25 litre sale. So what do you have to do? Selling price of 25 litre is equal to cost price of 25 litre. When? If there were not any profit or loss. So that's the first step. So we are starting our assumption like that. Selling price of 25 litre is same as the cost price of 25 litre if there were not any profit or loss. But there is a profit. So what is the profit here? So profit is cost price of 5 litre. So that's a profit. Don't forget that. That's a profit. So this is cost price of 5 litre. Cost price of 5 litre. So this is the actual situation. So I just give you a direct way to reach this conclusion without writing this much. You can shortly write this is 25 SP. Whenever we are doing this kind of a question, you don't want to write down it in an elaborated way like this. And simply you can write that as 25 SP. So this is 25 CP. That's the first step. That means what is this quantity? That's very important. So 25 SP, 25 CP. Then what is the profit here? That is 5 CP. In this case, CP. Suppose if the question is given that is the selling price of 5 liter, you have to write that as 5 SP. Clear? Now it is 5 CP. So we know that this is 25 CP and 5 CP. You can add it together. So this is 25 SP. That is equal to 30 CP. We are framing it as a ratio. That's why I mentioned that point. It's a ratio-wise approach. This is selling price by cost price. So this is 30 by 25, or after simplification, this is 6 by 5. So we are already familiar, similar type of operations. So now we will get the ratios like this. The cost price as the denominator. So here, cost price as 5. So there is a profit of 1. Then what is the profit percentage here? In such a situation, profit percentage, that is 1 by 5 into 100. So that is equal to 20%. So that is the percentage of profit. Got it? This is a way of approach. Understand that relationship. Based on this relationship, you can catch most of the questions like this. So now we can consider our next question. A man bought 100 kilogram of rice for rupees 1,100 and sold it at a loss as much money as he received for 20 kilogram of rice. What is the concept here? Here the loss is selling price of 20 kilogram. That's very important key point here. Here the loss is the selling price of 20 kilogram. You have to understand that concept clearly from this statement. Then, what price approximately did he sell the rice? Per kilogram, we have to consider that's per kilogram. Got it? So here, we are considering a man bought 100 kilogram. What is our first step? So this is a case of loss. Therefore, we can write it like this. Selling price is equal to cost price minus loss. So in our previous question, we expressed it as selling price equal to cost price plus profit. But whenever it is the case of loss, you have to consider this relationship, selling price equal to cost price minus loss. So it's a sale of 100 kilogram. So then we are considering thus at 100 selling price. So that is 100 CP. Then what is the loss here? Here the loss is selling price of 20 kilogram. So therefore that is 20 SP. I already mentioned the concept that short method related to the previous question. So then what you have to do, you just take this value towards left side because this is SP, this is SP. So we have to consider the variable part as common. So this is 120 SP. So that is 1000 CP. So this question, it's not related to the percentage of profit or loss. Instead, we have to find out what will be the selling price per kilogram for keeping this kind of a status. So it is given that the cost price of 100 kilogram, that is 1100. This is 1100. So compare these two concepts together. So that is 120 kilogram selling price is equal to 1100. So therefore selling price of each kilogram, so that is 1100 divided by 120. What it will become? So while we are simplifying this one, this is 110 by 12. So while we are considering, we are simplifying this one, this will be equal to 9.16666, etc. Or we can round up it as rupees 9.17. So the answer is option 1. So understand this tricky type of approach. So that means the cost price of 100 kilogram rice is same as the selling price of 120 kilogram rice. So if you're familiar with the concepts, instead of writing the steps like this, you can directly reach up to this point. Directly we can connect it. So cost price of 100 kilogram is same as selling price of 120 kilogram. Then only there were a loss of the selling price of 20 kilogram. So here the answer is 9.17. So now the next question. Two whole numbers whose sum is 84 cannot be the ratio. So what is the logic there? Suppose we just consider this 9:3. Is it possible? If you are considering, let the ratio be 9:3. What is the logic there? There we are considering the numbers are 9x and 3x. What is the sum of 9x and 3x? 9x plus 3x, that is equal to 12x. Is it possible to distribute that number 84 in this ratio? So what is simple testing here? Whether this 84 is divisible by 12. Whether this 84 is divisible by 12. Then only we will get that x as a whole number or a natural number. Yeah, it's possible. Then we can distribute the numbers are, therefore, the numbers or the distributions are 9x. So that is 9 into 7. So this is 63. And the next one, 3x. So that is 3 into 7, which is 21. It's possible to distribute as per this ratio. Whenever we are considering further ratio values, you don't want to waste your time to do this kind of a verification in detail. Instead, what's the simple logic here? In all these situations, for getting this multiplicative factor as a natural number, our testing point is very simple, whether this 84 is divisible by 12. What is this 12? 12 is nothing but the ratio sum. So in each of these situations, we are considering what is the ratio sum. Here 9 plus 3, 12, 3 plus 5, that is 8, 3 plus 5. So that is 8, 19 plus 2, 21, 5 plus 7, that is 12. So we are checking whether this 84 is divisible by 12. Yes. 84, is it divisible by 8? No, it is not divisible by 8. 84, is it divisible by 21? Yes. 84, is it divisible by 12? Sure. Got it? So then what's the conclusion there? This 84 cannot be distributed in this ratio. Our question is we have to find out such a ratio, which means 84 cannot be distributed in which among the following ratios, hence the answer is 3:5. That's a simple logic. The logic is based on this concept, whether the total value is divisible by the sum of the ratio values. The next question. Two alloys containing copper and iron in the ratio 5:8 and 5:3 melted in equal quantities. That's a very important point, equal quantities. The ratio of iron to copper in the resulting alloy. So here iron is to copper. Got it? Our first one, that is 5:8. And second one, it contains in the ratio 5:3. You just simply consider what is the sum of these ratio values. 5 plus 8. 5 plus 8. So that is 13. So what about this one? This is 5 plus 3. That is 8. If we want to make those two quantities are equal, it is given that, so we are taking both alloys in equal quantities. For making these values are equal, what you have to do? You just multiply it by 8 and this by 13. What happened here? So this 13 into 8 and this has 8 into 13. Both the values become equal. So what will happen? The quantities here. So this 8 into 5. So that's equal to 40. And 8 into 8, that is 64. Got it? So that means now in the new alloy or in the new mixture, this iron from the first alloy we took 40 units and that of copper is 64 units. Similarly, in the second alloy, what happened? This is 13 into 5. 13 into 5, that is 65. And this is 13 into 3, that is 39. So now we took both the alloys in equal quantities. So then combine it together. So what is the quantities here? 40 plus 65, that is 105. And 64 plus 39. So what it will become? 100. So here 3. So the answer is 105 is to 103. So this answer. Option 4. So understand the trick behind such a question. If you are making these quantities are equal, we are doing the operations like this. Here we just multiply in the reverse order. It's not mandatory that always we are doing the multiplications like this. So means first 13 multiplied by 8 and 8 multiplied by 13. Here 13 and 8, they don't have any common factor. That's why we are doing similar type of operations. If they have any common factor, we know that we are going to make them as the LCM of those two quantities. But in this case, 8 and 13, they don't have any common factor. So therefore, we have to multiply it in an exchange way. So like that, we can equate the total quantity. Based on that total quantity, we can find the answer. Next question. ABC join a partnership. A invested 16,000, 6 months. B invested 12,000. 2/3 of the year, C invested 1,000 for 12 months. Their profit sharing ratio. That's an easy question. Here we just consider 3 persons, A, B, and C. So first we are considering their investment. So their investment. Here the first person, his investment is 16,000 and second person 12,000 and third person that is 1,000 only. So we can make them as ratio. If you make the mass ratio, this is 16 is to 12 is to 1. And the period of investment. So next we are considering the period of investment. First person invested for 6 months. Second person 2/3 of an year. So 2/3 of an year, 12 months. So that is equal to 8 months. So this is 8 months. And the third person kept the amount for the entire 12 months. So if you want to find the profit share, so ratio of profit. So that is 16 into 6 is to 12 into 8 is to 1 into 12. So while simplifying this one, we know that we can cancel 12 from each value. How to do the simplifications here? So here 12 we can cancel from here, that is 1. Here 12, that is 1. Here this 6, 1, we have to take a 2 from here, therefore that is 8. Clear? Like this way. So then what will be the final answer? This is 8 into 1, 8. This is 1 into 8, 8. This is 1 into 1, 1. So the final answer is 8 is to 1. Look at the options. There were not any option like this 8 is to 1. Hence the answer is none of these. So how to find out the profit share in partnership? This is a question from the topic partnership. Such a topic. That is investment amount into period of investment. So that's the worth of investment there. So that's why we are considering that as a ratio of their profit share. So next, 12 men can do a job in 8 days. 6 days after they start, 4 men join them. How many more days will it take to do the job? So whenever we are doing the operations from the topic like time and work, you have to create a clear concept-wise foundation of that topic. Otherwise, it's quite difficult to find the answer of most of such type of questions. So here, how we can do it? Here, 12 men can do a job in 8 days. So here we are considering 12 men. So they required 8 days. So what happened here? 6 days after they start, 4 men joined them. So what happened here? After 6 days, for the remaining work. So we are considering the calculation for the remaining quantity of work. What we can write? this kind of a step there for the remaining work there. So they are the same 12 men. They required how many days for the finishing of remaining work? Suppose we are not considering that foreman joint, that's a new situation. We are considering it later. So we are considering the initial situation, that is there were 12 men, the initial 12 men there. They required for the 2 days for the remaining work because 6 days over. So we need 2 more days for finishing the remaining work. At this point of time, so these types of questions you have to approach like this. You have to consider it's a breakage there. After that breakage, you have to consider it at this point of time. If you are including another 4 men to the group, what will happen? So if we are including 4 men there, so here 4 men. So at this time we have 16 men. So think about such a situation. So how many days required? 12 men, they required 2 days. Then if you are adding 4 men, that means the new workforce becomes 16 men. How many days required? That's a basic relationship of men and days. 12 men, 2 days, 16 men, how many days? The product of these two values is same as the product of these two values because the number of workers and the working days are in inverse variation. So while applying that concept, what you have to do, this is nothing but product of these two values, that is 12 into 2 divided by the 16. That's the easiest way of approach. If you are doing this one, this is 8. What is 12 by 8? 12 by 8 is nothing but 1.5. So the answer is 1.5 days. So this is the answer. So this way we can easily catch. So this breaking concept, that's very important and the interesting type of approach. You have to learn that concept and we'll get similar type of question. So this is the most easiest and the smart way to reach the conclusion of such a question. Excluding the stoppage, the speed of a bus is 54 km per hour and including stoppage it is 45 km per hour. For how many minutes does the bus stop per hour? It's a typical kind of questions. Whenever you are facing such a question initially, you may think about it so many times or in a deep level. So what's the trick behind such a question? Once you are familiar with the concepts, it's a 1 second question. I will teach you what will be the 1 second approach towards such a question. So first of all, what is the concept here? If this bus is running without any stoppage, it can use its effective potential or the rate or the speed endure this 1 hour span. So at that time, it can cover a total of 54 km in 1 hour. So what is the wastage of time there? Wastage of time in the sense the time the bus spent for stoppages in 1 hour. So due to that wastage of time, it effectively cover only 45 km. You just simply think about what is the percentage of decrease occurred in its efficiency. So that is nothing but that decrease happened. It's just because of the decrease in the time it's used. Time it's used in the sense a certain quantity of time spent for stoppage. Got it? So therefore, we have to find out the stoppage time per hour. So therefore, the stoppage time per hour. So direct approach. So that is simply, you just consider what is the decrease in effective speed here? That is 54 minus 45. This is what percentage of actual efficiency? So this much into 100. Instead of percentage, we are considering what is the decrease occurred in each 1 hour. So 1 hour is nothing but 60 minutes. So this is the direct approach. So whenever we are considering instead of 54 km, due to the stoppage, it covered only 45 km. For catching, what is the per hour minute it spent for stoppage? So just multiply this fraction with the 60 minutes. What you will get? This is equal to 9 by 54. So into 60 minutes. So this is 1 by 6. So therefore 10 minutes per hour. It's spending for stoppages. So the answer is 10 minutes per hour. So there's a direct approach towards such a question. Whenever you will get such a question, understand the concepts clearly, apply the trick directly. The next question, R and S can do a job in 8 and 12 days respectively. If they work on alternate days with R beginning, how many days will the work be finished? One of the previous set of questions we already explained similar type of approach. So this time I just directly give the solution and that's the actual way of approach towards such a question. What you have to do in whenever we will get similar type of questions here. First of all, you have to frame a basic idea about the distribution or the statistics related to the number of days and the efficiency of these two persons. Here R can do a piece of work in 8 days and S can do it in 12 days. 12 days. So what is the LCM of 8 and 12? That's the next point. What is the LCM of 8 and 12? Easily we can conclude that is equal to 24. So that is, this 24 is nothing but the LCM of 12 and 8. So what is the assumption there? So we have to consider 24 units of work in total. So in our earlier explained examples, we discussed that in the form of binding books. Suppose these two persons R and S. So we gave a task to them. They have to bind 24 books. If they are planning to do it individually, so this R alone required 8 days for finishing the binding process of this 24 books. So therefore, what is the efficiency or rate of work of R? So R can buy or bind 3 books per day. So what you have to do, you just divide this 24 by 8. So that is 3. And S can bind 24 by 12, that is 2 books per day. If they are working together, they together can bind 5 books per day. So if you need to find out what is the number of days if they start on work on alternate days and start with R beginning. So this will be in the form R, S, R, S, R, S, and so on. So I'm explaining it in an easiest way. Total number of days they required. So understand the next step of operation clearly. Our work is 24. So we just divide it by their combined efficiency, that is 5. So here we know that 4 times of 5, that is 20, and remaining 4 works here. So what will happen here? This 4 works, this 4, this 4. So this 4 in the sense. So if we are considering 2 days, so R at first, S second. In 2 days, they can finish a total quantity of 5 units of work. How many such 5s lies in 24? There are 4 such 5s. That means 4 into 2 days plus remaining 4 units of work there. 4 books remains there. So who will work immediately on the next day? It's 10 finished such as R, S, R, S, R, S, R, S. And 4 times. That means 8 days over. So in the 9th day, again R will work. So R can finish 3 units of work. So what you have to consider, you just split this as 3, then remaining 1. So that remaining 3 units of work, immediately next day, R will finish. And the further remain last 1 book, who will do the work at the next day? So that is S. What is the efficiency of S? S can finish 2 units of work per day, but there were only 1 unit. So that's a tricky concept here. So first of all, what do you want to do? You just consider the LCM like this. So then you got the idea, in each 2 day, they together can finish 5 units of work. How many such 5 units of work required to finish this 24 units of work? That is 4 times. So just multiply that 4 by 2 because it representing each 5 units of work finished in 2 days, 2 consecutive days. How many such consecutive situations there? So there are 4 such consecutive pairs of days, therefore that is 4 into 2, that is 8. Plus, immediately next day, this R will work. So therefore, R can finish 3 units of work, but remaining work is totally 4 units of work. Therefore, we just split it as 3 plus remaining. Here the remaining is 1, and the last day whole work, S will work. The efficiency of S is 2, so therefore that is 1 by 2. So here this is 8 plus 1 plus 1 by 2. So we can directly write this is 9 and 1 by 2 days. Understand the concepts clearly. Got it? So whenever you will get similar type of question, you just apply these concepts directly. Here the answer is option 2. So now the next question. The sum of the series 4, 8, 16, 32, etc. till 10 terms. So what is the specialty of these numbers? Just look at the numbers. What is the specialty? So 4, 8, 16, 32, etc. These terms are in GP. It's a GP. So this GP is nothing but 4, 8, 16, 32, etc. So what is the first term of this GP? That is 4. What is the common ratio here? That is 8 by 4, so which is equal to 2. What is the number of terms? It is given that 10 terms. Then what is the sum to terms of a GP? For that purpose, we just recall the result, sum to n terms of a GP. That is A into R raised to n minus 1 divided by R minus 1. This is the result. So when R is greater than 1. Here the R is greater than common ratio, that is greater than 1. So we are applying the same result. Here A is 4 into. Here this value that is equal to R raised to n. So this is 2 raised to 10 minus 1 divided by R minus 1. So here we got 2 minus 1, that's equal to 1 itself. Therefore, the final answer is 4 into 2 raised to 10 minus 1. So this answer is option 4. Okay, next question. The HCF of x square minus 6x plus 9 and x square minus 5x plus 6. So two quadratic expressions we have is based on the concept of factorization. So you have to consider which are the factors of these two quadratic expressions for finding the HCF. HCF is nothing but the highest common factor. We have to consider the common factor from both the factorized forms of these two expressions. For that, first we just consider this is x square minus 6x plus 9. Do you know which are the factors of these numbers? So you just think about this number like this. The product of two numbers is 3 and their sum is equal to 6. Which are the numbers there? 3 and 3. Therefore, we can directly connect this as x minus 3, the whole square. So just recall the result, a minus b, the whole square. So based on that idea, that is x square minus 6x plus 9. So the next one, that is x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to, so not equal, so this will be equal to, so what is the factorization there? Here again you just think about the situation, product of two numbers are 6 and their sum is 5. Which are the numbers? Two numbers, their product is 6 and their sum is 5. So those numbers are 2 and 3. So you can write this as x minus 2 into x minus 3. So this x minus 3, the whole square is nothing but that is x minus 3 into x minus 3. So while considering these two expressions, whether there are any common factors, yeah, here x minus 3 is common here. So we can take what is the HCF of these two expressions, algebraic expressions. So no doubt that is x minus 3. So the answer is first option. So this kind of a factorization is required for similar type of questions. So this is a factorization of quadratic expressions. So based on this idea, you can reach the conclusion of the similar type of questions. But there are some numerical proficiency. These two algebra or the quadratic expressions are easier one, because here we can easily reach the conclusion. The product is 9 and the sum is 6, which are those two numbers, because these quantities are in manageable range. Whenever these quantities are in a complex nature at that time, the operation becomes time consuming, because you may think about the possible such numbers. So it's quite difficult to reach the conclusion in most of the situations. So now we can consider the next question. The sum of n terms of an AP, minus 40, minus 38, minus 36, etc. is positive, then the least possible value of n. So first we can consider the actual conventional way towards this question. Then after that I will explain what's the logical way to reach the conclusion of such a question. Here this is the AP. Therefore, what is the first term of this AP? That is minus 40. And what is the common difference here? So here the common difference is minus 38, second term, minus first term. So that is equal to 2. So instead of doing the operations like this, so you don't want to be too much conventional for finding these values. Only for the explanation purpose, I just gave the idea there. So instead, while observing this sequence, you will get the idea that it's increased by 2. Therefore, that is the common difference. So here the common difference is 2. And if we are considering sum to n terms of this AP is positive. What is sum to n terms of an AP? So if you are considering an AP, sum to n terms, that is n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So it is given that n by 2 into 2a, instead of a you have to put that value as 40, plus n minus 1 into d, d as 2 we already got. This is greater than 0. Then what is the possible value of n? So here, while observing this expression, here we know that we can cancel these 2's. So then we can combine it together. Here it will become, so this is n into minus 40 plus n minus 1. So this is greater than 0. So this is nothing but n into n minus 41. So greater than 0. So we know that n is greater than 0 because n is the number of terms. So here as n greater than 0, n minus 41 is also greater than 0. So therefore n is greater than 41. So n is nothing but the number of terms. If n is greater than 41, which will be the immediately next largest value, therefore the possible value of n as, here this value it will become, so 42. So greater than 41, immediately next largest value, that is 42. So this is the tricky or the conventional way. Then we have to consider which will be the logical way towards such a question. So while we are observing the sequence, this is minus 40, minus 38, minus 36, etc. So in such a sequence, if you are considering that entire sequence, here this one, we can consider it logically. This is minus 40, minus 38, minus 36, etc. So this we know that this is 2 into or minus 2 into 20 terms. So this is 20, this is 19, this is 18 and so on. So when it will reach up to 0, so that means this first term, so that we are considering as minus 40, then definitely its 21st term, that will be equal to 0. What is the logic there? This is 20, 19, 18 and so on. So then that will be when it will become 0. So that is the 21st term. So like that we have to consider. Or this way we can reach the conclusion when the 21st term is 0, so another 20 terms. So that will be again its positive version. It's positive version. So I just write down the positive version here. Suppose here this is negative 40. So this we are considering its positive version like this one, minus 40, minus 38, so minus 36, etc., minus 2, 0, then again 2, 4, etc., up to 40. So whenever we will reach up to positive 40, the entire sum will become equal to 0. You just visualize what's the number of terms here. If this negative 40 as the first term, this is second term, third term, etc. This will be the 21st term. And similarly, 22, etc. This is 22, etc. This will be here 20 terms, here another 20 terms, like that we just consider. So this will be the 41st term. So sum of these 41 terms will be equal to 0. So immediately next term we have to consider. That is the 42nd term. So then only we will get the entire sum becomes positive. Therefore we require 42 terms in this arithmetic progression for keeping that as a positive sum. So the next question, find the perimeter of a triangle ABC if A equal to 90 degree, AB 8 centimeter, AC 6 centimeter. So you just consider a triangle here. So a triangle here. So it's a right triangle. So we just consider this is A, B and C. And this A equal to 90 degree. It is given that AB 8 centimeter. This is 8 centimeter, AC 6 centimeter. As we know the Pythagoras theorem. So as per Pythagoras theorem, in a right angle triangle, this BC equal to root of AB square plus AC square. So here this is 8 square plus 6 square. So this is equal to 64 plus 36. So which is root 100, that's equal to 10 centimeter. So this side that's equal to 10 centimeter that we found here. So instead of doing the Pythagoras theorem like this, you are quite familiar with the concept of Pythagorean triplet. So this Pythagorean triplet in the form 3:4:5. So that is 3:4:5, that's a Pythagorean triplet we are applying here. 3:4:5. So one side is 6 centimeter, another side is 8 centimeter. Therefore, the third side that should be 10 centimeter. So once you are familiar with the Pythagorean triplet, it's an important requirement to recall by heart the important Pythagorean triplets. So then, once you got the three sides of such a triangle, we can find out the perimeter. So perimeter of a triangle is nothing but the sum of their sides. So here the sum of the sides are 6, 8 and 10. So that is equal to 24 centimeter. Got it? So here the answer is option 1. That is 24 centimeter. Next question. In an equilateral triangle, the circumcenter, orthocenter and the incenter are. So while we are considering an equilateral triangle. So if you are considering an equilateral triangle. So what happened here in an equilateral triangle? What is the logic here? So what is circumcenter? So circumcenter is nothing but that is the concurrent point of the perpendicular bisectors of sides. So how to do the perpendicular bisectors of these sides? So if you are drawing it properly, so it's an equilateral triangle. So you have to do it properly. Yeah. Here, if you are drawing this perpendicular bisector of sides, suppose this side, its perpendicular bisector is like this one. So this is the perpendicular bisector. So these sides perpendicular bisector. This is the circumcenter. And next one is orthocenter. So what is orthocenter? How to draw the orthocenter here? If you are drawing the orthocenter in such a situation, so that is the orthogonals. Orthogonals in the sense the altitude. So that is same as this one. So 1, and this orthogonal is nothing but the line segment or the perpendicular we are drawing from a vertex to its opposite side. So while we are drawing this one, so this one. So that's also coincide here at this point, same point. And the third one, that is the incenter. What is incenter? Incenter is nothing but the angle bisectors of each angle. So while we are considering the incenter, so this angle's bisector is nothing but it goes like this. This angle's bisector, it goes like this. This angle's bisector, it goes like this. So in each situation, so we will get the same point. And again, one more concept is there, that's the concept of centroid. What is centroid? Whenever we are drawing the medians, so that will concurrent at a point, that point is called centroid. So what is the trick here? In the case of an equilateral triangle, all these line segments are same. That means if you are drawing a median, if you are drawing an orthogonal, if you are drawing a perpendicular bisector of a side, if you are drawing the angle bisector at a particular vertex, so all these 4 lines are same in the case of an equilateral triangle. That means these points are same. These points are same, then it's technically called, this point is coincide. So that is coincident points. So these points are called coincident points. Therefore, in an equilateral triangle, the circumcenter, orthocenter, and incenter are coincident. So then, what is the term meaning of concurrent? Concurrent means whenever we are considering multiple line segments. So these lines in a plane passes through a common point, that particular point is concurrent. And what is collinear? So if you are considering so many points in a plane, so whenever we are drawing or we are connecting those all points together, if we will get a straight line, those points are called collinear. So here it's a concept-wise question, and our final question. Find the angle that is 4 times as large as its complement. What is complementary angle? So here, first of all, we have to consider that concept complement of x. So that is simple. Complement of x is same as 90 minus x. So the concept is very simple. The sum of those 2 angles will be equal to 90 degree. Then those 2 types of angles are called complementary angles. In this question, it is given that the angle, one angle, that is 4 times as large as its complementary. Then what is this x? So this is x equal to 360 minus 4x. So that is 5x equal to 360, and the value of x equal to 360 by 5, which is equal to 72 degree. 72 degree. So this question based on that basic idea or the terminology, geometrical terminology. Based on that geometrical terminology, you can reach the conclusion easily. So these are the questions, 25 questions from the CUET model exam. So hope you all got all the very important ideas related to these all questions. So you have to keep these all questions and the concepts based on these questions as the objective points for your further learning process. So whenever we are covering each question, so you have to collect all the related concepts of that particular concept. So then like that you can improve your knowledge level. And in each time you have to learn the different kinds of strategical approach or the smart way to reach the conclusion of each and every questions. So I explained some limited ways to reach the conclusions here or reach the solution, means a final answer. So you can think about it, you can improvise it. So whether there are any alternative solutions method for finding the answer. Like that you have to increase your skill or problem solving skill. It's based on some basic kinds of understandings. So basic knowledge is very important. So you have to empower your knowledge. Concepts are the foundation. So like that you have to practice it well. Right now we can wind up. Thank you.